snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys, so I am here today to do the second part of my May wrap-up. I've already filmed the novels and novellas part, so if you want to check that out, I will link it down below and you can go and check that out. I also did lots of like updates and things in that video and asked you guys for some recommendations on some things, so please go and check that out and leave me some comments on that video if you haven't already. This is going to be talking about the graphic novels and single issues that I read in May. I managed to read quite a few as always, so let's get started. I'm again going to go from lowest rating to highest rating and talk very quickly about why I liked or disliked each one. The first one I have to show you guys is a single issue. It is called DC Superhero Girls and it was a free comic book issue. So of course I got this on Free Comic Book Day. I just happened to go into Forbidden Planet with lots of friends of mine and we picked up some of the free single issues. This was one of them. I enjoyed it. It's fun, it's light. It's about superhero girls and it's a very simplistic art style, not too detailed, just kind of bold and fun, and it's enjoyable. It was a good read, but I'm not sure if it's something I would love to pick up the volume for. It was okay, it was likeable, it was fun, but it wasn't anything that completely hooked me, so I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. The next thing I read was the Autumnlands Volume 1 Tooth and Claw. This is by Kurt Busiek and Benjamin Dewey, and I picked this one up because I read the first issue on Comixology and really enjoyed it and wanted to continue with the story, so I then picked up this volume. Unfortunately, the volume as it went on, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first issue because there was a character who was introduced that I wasn't a big fan of and I didn't expect and I wasn't really keen on. So although I liked the first issue, unfortunately this one didn't live up to how excited I was about that and I felt a little bit disappointed. It was still good and it was still interesting. It's very violent. If you're not into blood and gore, you're probably not going to like this. It's about a world where animals rule, but then a chaotic, crazy thing happens when all the magic starts going and they have to try and bring it back, and they kind of break things a little bit and bring someone who's maybe not meant to be there into their world. So that's kind of an overview. The artwork looks like this. It's quite colourful and crazy, but unfortunately this one I didn't love as much as I hoped I would. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars overall. I might carry on with this for a bit and see if it gets better, but I'm not sure yet, so let me know if you've read this one. The next one I read was Volume 5 of Fables. This is called The Mean Seasons and it's by Bill Willingham, Mark Buckingham, Steve LEIALOHA, Tony Akins and Jimmy Palmiotti. So there's a collection of people who work on this. I definitely enjoy Fables. I never really have a problem with it too much. Like, it's just easy to read, it's fun to get into, but this one wasn't my favourite one and the art style shifted, which is always a bit of a hard adjustment for me. So although it's fun still, although it's kind of very stereotypical Fables storyline, I did feel like the art was not my favourite and there was a war-heavy storyline in this which I wasn't a big fan of, so I gave it 3 stars overall. I still like it and I definitely continued with the series and was enjoying it, so that's that. I also continued on with the 3rd volume of Rat Queens. This is called Demons and this has WIEBE, FOWLER, BONVILLAN and BRISSON, and I definitely enjoyed the new artwork by Tess Fowler. I thought it was really, really nice and I thought that she had a great style that she brought to it. However, the storyline itself felt a little bit jumbled to me. I still liked it, it's still fun, I still am loving seeing these crazy ass ladies, but I do think it's a little bit convoluted at times. So this is what the artwork looks like. Pretty cool, as I think you'll agree. And I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars overall, so likeable, definitely one I'll probably continue with, but not my favourite in the series so far. Next up, I read I Hate Fairyland, which is by Scotty Young. This is a crazy adventure, kind of taking the mick out of some of the tropes that you see in fairy tales and in stories of fantasy, which I liked. It's quite satirical, quite cynical, and that's funny. It's about this young girl who gets sucked into fairyland and then she ends up having to complete a quest to get out of fairyland. She's terrible at quests and so it doesn't go to plan and she ends up staying there for a good long time, like 20 plus, 30 plus years, and so she ends up a 40-ish year old woman trapped in a young girl's body who really hates fairyland, and she goes around on a rampage still trying to complete this mission that she was given years and years ago, but not doing very well and basically killing lots of stuff. So if that sounds like your sort of thing, it is bonkers, but you'll probably enjoy it. And I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. It is funny, it's amusing, it's definitely witty at times, but it's very bloody, and I didn't like the main character, so I had a few quibbles, but it was really enjoyable as a whole, and it's probably one I will continue on with. I'll try and show you some of the artwork. Some of it is quite bloody, as I say, so apologies. It's like neons and bright colours and then just horrible. So yeah, this is the moon exploding. Nice. So it's kind of crazy, as I say, but it's a funny one. Next, I read Fables Volume 6. This is called Homelands, and this one again is by Bill Willingham, Mark Buckingham, David HAHN and Steve LEIALOHA, and I enjoyed this one. It was definitely interesting to get a look at the homelands and see a little bit more about that, because it's something we've had a lot hinted at, but we haven't really seen it, and we haven't really found out too much about the people behind the adversary, and I think this one gives us a lot more information, which I really, really enjoyed. I kind of got used to the new art style by this point, and it was fine with me, and I was just enjoying the story in this one. I also really liked seeing Boy Blue and his adventure, which was fabulous. So I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 stars, definitely an enjoyable read, and definitely better than the 5th one in my opinion. I also moved on to Volume 7, which is Fables, Arabian Nights and Days, and this is by Bill Willingham, Mark Buckingham, Steve LEIALOHA, Jim Fern, Jimmy Palmiotti and Andrew Pepoy, so lots of people again. This one was good. I enjoyed it as a story. I thought it was fun and the adventure was good. I did think that the portrayal of the Arabs in this was pretty bad, definitely not breaking the stereotype, and I think that that was slightly what let this down. It wasn't as good as it could have been, but as a whole, I thought this was fun and I thought it was well done, and I enjoyed the art and the story, and so although I had those quibbles about stereotyping, I do think that this is a good story and I did still enjoy it, so I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I then picked up issue 18 and 19 of Wicked and the Divine, which is by Gillen, McKelvie, Wilson and Cowles. This is the start of the new arc that they are releasing, and it's back to the original team, which I am loving. I have genuinely really enjoyed going back to the original team. I think the artwork is better, I think the story is more cohesive, and I really like this arc so far, so I'm hoping it's going to get even more dramatic and crazy, and I'm sure it will. I gave both of these a 4 out of 5 stars. I then picked up Cursed Pirate Girl, Volume 1. This is by Jeremy A. Bastian, and I picked this up originally a while ago because I had seen Jeremy Bastian's work in Mouse Guard Legends of the Guard, and I had really enjoyed what he did in that issue. It's hugely detailed, like hyper detailed, and I think that this is just fantastic. I think this must have taken him years and years and years of work to put together, I believe, because it's so detailed, so meticulous. I will show you some of the artwork so you guys know what I mean, but genuinely it is just incredible. Just the level of detail is astounding, and I cannot believe that he's managed this. For sure, this is a book that I will reread and still be spotting more stuff in the margins, in the tiny areas that I haven't yet looked at, because the level of detail is astounding. It is such a fun story. It's about this young girl who is a cursed pirate girl. She goes on a quest to find her father, but along the way she discovers many other crazy pirates and crazy weird things that are kind of mythical creatures and people all blended together. Very odd, very bizarre, definitely reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland and the original John Tenniel illustrations. If you like Alice in Wonderland, if you like The Little Mermaid, if you like just bizarre, crazy stuff, you'll probably enjoy this. It is kind of a combination of all of those things and pirates, which is great. So I would definitely recommend checking this out. It is appropriate for all ages. It is completely PG, so maybe one that you will want to read with your children, and it's certainly one that they will take ages just spotting all of the really interesting things that are in the tiny background details, because it is so meticulously detailed. I love this. I will definitely carry on with this series, and I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars overall. The next one I read was Descender Volume 2. This is by Jeff Lemire and Dustin NGUYEN, and I know that this has a lot of hype surrounding it because the first volume was incredible. This was no exception to that rule. I adored the second volume just as much as the first, and I really recommend this series. I do think this one gave us a little bit more background as well, helped us to really develop the world a bit more, helped us to get in on the characters and find out just what was going on with them. I really liked this, and I would highly recommend this besides that, the artwork is incredible. It's about a little robot in space who gets lost and then discovered by various different people. He is not meant to exist, and so it kind of causes a lot of controversy in the Empire, and lots of people are chasing after him, trying to kill him, and lots of people want him for their own nefarious deeds. So it's fantastic, it's wonderful, beautifully illustrated. I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars, would definitely recommend. Which leaves the final one. The last one that I read this month was Odyssey, and this is volume 1 of Too Far Ithaca, and it's by Matt Fraction and Christian Ward. I don't know why I waited so long to read this. I was convinced I needed to read the Odyssey before trying to read Odyssey, and that is wrong. You do not need to have read the Odyssey. All you need to know is that it's a kind of crazy book and there's a big war, and that's pretty much it. So this was fantastic. The artwork on the front is quite typical of what it's like inside. It is very, very bright, very crazy, very whimsical, very explosive, very mad, very batty. It's just a mess of wonderful colour, emotion, craziness, war, battling, exceptional spaceships in space, like dream worlds, gods and goddesses. It's just kind of a little bit of everything squished in. So if you like the sound of that, I would definitely say check this one out. As I say, you don't need to have read the Odyssey to understand this, because I understood it and I've never read the Odyssey. I'm sure you would get more if you had, but I haven't, and it's just incredible. This, I believe, is a gender-flipped version of the Odyssey, so everyone who is male in the Odyssey is female in this, which is kind of cool, and I really, really liked the way that they have interpreted this story and made it their own and just converted everything into space and into a completely crazy storyline. So I would highly recommend you check this out if you haven't already, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I'll certainly be carrying on with this series when Volume 2 comes out, which I think is pretty soon, if not already, so very excited for that. So those are all of the single issues and graphic novels that I read this month. I would love to hear what you guys have been reading, or if you've been reading any of the ones that I mentioned, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Do go check out part 1 if you haven't already, and I will see you all in my next video, which will probably be my TBR, so look out for that. Very excited to start the TBRs again. Yay! Thank you for watching. Goodbye!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.